Russia and China blocked a proposed consensus statement for the East Asia Summit drafted by Southeast Asian countries, mainly over objections to language on the contested South China Sea. This is as per reports. In fact, a draft statement arrived at by consensus by the 10-nation Association of Southeast Asian Nations was put to the 18-nation East Asia Summit meeting in Laos. Reports stated that the United States, Japan, Australia, South Korea and India all said they could support it. But this official added that the Russians and Chinese said that they could not and would not proceed with a statement. Well, for further clarity, we have with us geopolitical analyst Don McClain Gill. Thank you so much, Don, for making time for us. Reports clearly state that there was certainly no language that was getting into the nitty-gritty of any particular standoff, no language that was favoring any claimant over any other. So do you believe that this shows two expansionist empires looking out for each other? What's your take?
Well, first of all, it's great to converse with you, Parmeshwar. And, you're absolutely right. Generally speaking, Russia and China are two expansionist powers that are on hyperdrive, whether we look at it from Eastern Europe, the South China Sea, the West Philippine Sea, Senkaku, the northern territories of Japan, Taiwan, etc. So any mention of principles and binding legal frameworks that were established to check such expansionist ambitions would be definitely frowned upon by either Moscow or Beijing.
What would you then say, Don, are the potential consequences for regional stability if disputes over language related to the South China Sea continue to actually hinder diplomatic agreements?
Well, here's the thing. This provides an opportunity for regional countries like ASEAN to recognize the clear threats that are impounding within their immediate neighborhood. Now, ASEAN summits have had this negative stereotype of being just talk shops, but what we clearly saw in the past few days was the initiative taken by particular Southeast Asian countries, such as the Philippines, to challenge China's expansionist ambitions against international law UNCLOS in the 2016 arbitral ruling. So, based on the reports, the major point of contestation was UNCLOS and how it was used. But the reality is UNCLOS has not changed. What has changed is China's level of belligerence and intolerance towards international law and towards the greater South China Sea. So that in itself is a clear realization among Southeast Asian states. You have the Philippines and Vietnam, for instance, beginning to work together in maritime security cooperation for the first time. And this is telling of the realization that Southeast Asian countries have towards their belligerent largest immediate neighbor.